Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you are all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and yesterday was certainly a very entertaining day on the timeline, courtesy of my boy Samuel Octane at LaRue. Going to be diving into that in a couple of minutes time here, but also the Stage 2 Major begins later today. It is officially upon us, April the 7th, the day has finally come. Enjoy taking your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. Also, thanks for 54,000+ subscribers, whatever we're on now. It's been a crazy few weeks on the channel, certainly. Let's keep trucking it in the right direction. Firstly, this from Tom Ryan Ogre 2 over at the Florida guys. Clearly here, well, missed the memo that April Fools happened to be last week with this roster announcement that they do indeed make. But well, here comes from the COD League a tournament structure shift for the championship weekend. So as they say here, this is going to apparently improve the experience for the players and the viewers. Whether this is fully true, it does remain to be seen. They come up with some explanation as to why they've made this change. This is what they decide to make. It's not the biggest change in the world, of course, but it certainly can be argued the pros and cons of this. So the winners finals and the elimination round 5 have effectively been swapped in terms of where they are played. This means that 4 teams will make it to the championship Sunday as opposed to just 3, but if you win the winners finals on the Saturday it is now, you don't play a single game all the way until the major grand final. Now the benefit to this, they say, is okay, we get to see 4 teams on the Sunday, which is I'm sure probably the reason why they're doing this, right? They want more teams to be there on the championship Sunday, or they're now even I think calling it like the top 4 Sunday or something like this. Now from a viewer perspective, it does prevent a rematch of the winners finals and the major finals happening on the same day, which I think is a good point, right? Like last time it was Atlanta beat Dallas, then Atlanta beat Dallas again, and like 90% of the day you're watching Atlanta beat Dallas. So, I can certainly see why that's a positive for the viewers, but at the same time, the winner of the winners finals match on the Saturday now has a full 24 hours. Now, they kind of spin this as a positive, but in Call of Duty, you want to be warmed up and ready to go for your final match, especially given the fact, and we'll show exactly what this looks like in terms of the bracket right here, but effectively, this winners finals match is now going to be played on the Saturday, and instead of, this being played on the Sunday, it will be elimination round 5. So 4 teams will remain coming into the Sunday, but at the same time, if you win the winners finals, you have 24 hours until your grand finals, and, you still don't get any advantage, right? This is the thing that we kind of wanted changed, was that the team for winners gets a 1-0 edge. That would also prevent there being 4 search and destroys in a best of 9. There could just be 3 and kind of effectively a best of 8 with a 1-0 advantage, like it was at Champs last year. The fact that you're coming in here from the winners finals cold, not having played a match just before like you would have done traditionally, and you're now playing a team that's coming off hot, a hot win in the elimination final, maybe even 2 hot wins off of round 5 and then an elimination final, and now we're sitting there with no advantage for the winners bracket team, despite them not having lost it in the tournament. Seems kind of strange to me. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some questions about this from the pro players this past weekend, but from the viewers, it's probably a good thing. Now, the spice on the timeline kind of kicked off yesterday with this from Arcitys. We talked yesterday about this tweet from Paulx saying he doesn't care anymore, it is time to snake, and well, to my understanding of this scrim up against Atlanta FaZe, there was a lot of snaking going on from Paulx and the guys Drazah Nation. Whoever plays London first is getting snaked, can confirm been snaked in a whole gunfight for a single minute. And the barrage against London on the day continues in full force from Octane, as he says, Crim left his setup to go outside and set up his EOTech whatever while we are awaiting a Garrison hardpoint to start. So kind of saying, okay, we've got some scrim sets going on here, and it seems like there's some delays certainly going on from Crimsix side, whatever he happens to be doing with this EOTech military spec site. But then, he comes and talks about the London guys. Now, to my understanding, the reason why he hasn't added Dylan here is that Dylan deactivated his Twitter a while ago. Not exactly sure why. But 1 hour later, I imagine, seriously, Paulx actually already called at Zach Zedenya. And this comes out also from Paulx in reply. Didn't you make us warm up versus Joey before our match? Now, this is a few days ago. There was a clip that came out of Joey Nubsy going like 5-29 or something in a scrim, playing for the Seattle Surge up against London. And, as Octane kind of makes clear right here, and I think this was the understanding at the time, the fact that London kind of said, look, we need to finish this scrim set real quick, so can you just sub in Joey or whatever, because I think Octane was in the bathroom or something. Not really sure what happened there, but okay, he actually explains it right here. No, I was in the bathroom and your team said I should start while I wasn't there. You're an hour late today, homie. Get off Twitter and queue up. Get ready to go. And this, in addition to kind of the snaking stuff, this comes out from Crone, actually is kind of funny image. But yeah, but I thought the twins, never mind. Now, the discussion point last year was the fact that, as London, we're going to get rid of the twins, we're going to get rid of Scraps and Waskin because they don't show up to scrims on time, they're not like super committed like the rest of the guys, and that was maybe some of the discussion internally and behind the scenes on that team, the fact that, maybe Scraps and Waskin, Waskin especially, there was was, you know, the arguments with Assault and stuff that we saw at the time, the fact that he was supposedly chalking off scrims to play like Warzone. I think there was only, I think he explained there was only like one time that ever happened. It was for a really special occasion. So, you know, obviously that was a bit of a narrative in the off-season. However, you're now seeing that, well, they're still clearly late for a scrim right here up against Seattle Surge. And, well, clearly if you're London, it's not a scrim you want to be missing. You've got a difficult time. You're sitting there in the losers bracket. You're going to be playing either the Paris Agent or the Los Angeles Thieves, I believe. We'll look at the matches in just a few minutes' time. But you find yourself in a tough spot, not turning up early to scrims. Of course, we don't have their side of the story ready here, but it's not exactly looking great. And as Octane says, how is it that professional Call of Duty players cannot sit in their chairs for 2 scrims? Literally just do your job, sit there and play the game. How hard can it really be? I think Arcitys replied to this as well. Okay, it's this time of year that we start complaining about this stuff, and for good reason, I believe, right? I mean, like, it's kind of crazy that, well, these guys are getting paid a fair bit of cash, but, you know, can you actually turn up and do your job on time? I don't really know. It surely is something that, well, we talked about before about the fact that, like, could we do fines for, like, people not turning up to scrims on time? Would the coaching staff or something be able to institute a fine for their own team if they didn't turn up on time? I think that was a discussion. Clearly, that's not really the case. Nowadays, they do a great job of, like, scheduling it, right? So they have, like, some massive spreadsheet, I imagine, when they schedule all the scrims between the teams. But, well, still, it doesn't necessarily seem to work. I think Vivid also said in reply the fact that no one ever seems to turn up on time anymore. And as Octane says, the amount of time I've spent sitting in a lobby, twiddling my thumbs, waiting for teams this year, the easiest thing in the world. We play at the same times every day, show up on time, shoot at me, I am absolutely begging. So I believe this is calling out London once again. But, well, some pretty entertaining replies here. So Clayster gets in on the act. Hold up, weren't y'all one of the worst at that last year? So Seattle Surge often chalking scrims. I mean, they had obviously a shambles of a roster last year. And then Octane says in reply, yes, then he retired and we were never late again. So, of course, there's talking about Damon Carmabalo, 3-time world champion on that team. And it's no secret, right, that, well, he wasn't often, well, there to scrims. He clearly hated the game last year as well. And I think often he just wouldn't turn up on time. He wouldn't wake up in time. And, well, that, of course, had a negative spiral on the rest of the players on that squad. Then he decided to step away from competing, I think, in something like May last year. This is a funny reply from Craig. I'm sure my title on this video will be somewhat similar to this. He's kind of nailed all the key points in, well, how the video titles tend to look. I'll think about it after the video's finished recording. But, well, Karma does actually come in reply. So as Clay says, fair enough. Now I have idiots in my mentions saying I'm being disrespectful to the GOAT Karma. All good. It's not like the days I was there on time were any better. This is the thing. Karma's not exactly known for being the most punctual man in the world. This is why there's been questions about, like, how good he would be as a coach, right? Because the coach, you kind of want to be, like, you know, guiding the troops in that sense, getting your guys not only fired up for the matches and giving them a good insight in what they should be doing better, but also being kind of like a man-to-man leader in that sense, right? Okay, getting the guys on time, making sure their nutrition's looking good or whatever if you don't have anyone else dealing with that, and maybe, you know, making sure their sleep patterns are good, and maybe Karma's not exactly the best man to have on the job in that case. And as Octane says in reply, we accomplished the same amount when we scrimmed and not playing at all, so obviously their team was pretty tragic last year. I think even Maven tweeted out recently the fact that Seattle have, they've won more games this season, won more matches this season than they did the entirety of last season already, so that is certainly a step in the right direction for them. And some more discussion as well. Octane finishes off with, I remember every day you got on, the other team would just torch our time as well. Seems to be happening this season, so some pretty spicy stuff. Octane calling out pretty much everyone. And then, well, Kenny comes out and says, sheesh, not exactly sure what this is referring to, maybe referring to that thread that we just looked at. It came out at a similar time, maybe nothing of the sort. But speaking of Los Angeles Thieves, Slasher came out with an explanation yesterday regarding this roster change. Just wanted to clear the air. As a competitor, I would never bench myself. This is not my decision. I still want to continue competing. I would never just give up. I appreciate the support. Good luck to the teams competing this weekend. Now, does this mean Slasher will be fighting his way through the challenger side? It does certainly remain to be seen. I think a lot of us would like to see it, like to see how that would go for him, but maybe he feels like he has too much pride or something to compete in that side of things. But well, as he says right here, pretty good explanation. Just well, so intrigued to see how it goes for Thieves this weekend because they have such an interesting roster now, and well, of course, their matchup later today is not exactly going to be so easy. Talking about the Dallas Empire real quick, this comes out from well, an express jump spot. I think I did this by accident a couple of times, and I wasn't really sure how to recreate it, so Shotzzy explains how to recreate it right here, in terms of effectively how to jump up in just one jump into the top window here on Express, whatever they call this room. Like, I think Ticket Room's the other one. I forget what people call this. Basically like A-bomb building or something like that. And effectively, you come up right here and you go next to this like information board type thing. If you look up at the bottom right-hand corner of the window, then as you jump, you turn to your left, then you'll make this jump pretty much every single time. He also shows that you can do it while you're sprinting, but if this is, well, something you guys weren't aware of, I thought I'd let you know, because as I say, I've done this by accident a couple of times, but I wasn't really sure how to recreate it, as he does right here. Get into this corner, camera, look at the corner of the window, jump and then look to the left, and on the other side jump and look to the right, and then you hop up every single time. So thought it was pretty cool as well while they come out and do these videos. Speaking of Dallas Empire, this comes out as well from Crimsix. So ILLey, Shotzzy, Illuminite, I think he's one of the managers over there at Envy, have never seen Tropic Thunder. Rambo Ray and I are mind blown. This is why our S&D is broken. Movie session tonight with the squad at my place. So yeah, maybe this will completely revitalize their Search and Destroy game for this weekend. But of course, speaking of this weekend, these are the matches going on later today. Paris Legion versus Los Angeles Thieves. Los Angeles Guerrillas then versus the Florida Mutineers. So this first series, of course, they've got this really strange team now, to be honest, of Kenny, TJ, Venom, and Drazah, which is then, well, Kenny's going to be running the main AR. There's been a lot of discussion on that the last couple of days, whether this is actually going to work for this new Thieves squad up against a Legion that finished the stage in pretty good form. Feels like Legion had a pretty good stage, but they ended up finishing pretty much bottom of their group once again. They're going to be playing the Thieves. LAG on the other side versus Mutineers. Tough to call this one, to be honest. Both these teams have potential to make something of a loser's bracket run. I can't really see Thieves, even if they do make it through this matchup, which I doubt they will. But if they do, then well, I don't really see them making too much of a run regardless. But maybe this team will have some sort of crazy honeymoon period without Slasher now into the lineup. But I still kind of feel like maybe this isn't a long-term solution. I can't see Kenny running the main assault rifle role on this team in like 12 months from now, right? Like, you look at that from that perspective, you're like, okay, surely something's going to have to change with this team again. But maybe this is like a short-term solution. Just effectively just wanted to get rid of Slasher and see how it would go without him in the lineup. But maybe in due course he can make his way back. So these are the two games today. And well, then tomorrow there's a lot more games. So effectively the way it works is on the Wednesday there's 2 matches, just the first elimination match rounds. We'll talk about the results, of course, later this evening. But well, then we get the round 1 winners tomorrow in addition to the round 2 losers. Then on the Friday it's round 2 winners versus and the round 3 losers. That's basically how it goes through the rest of the weekend. We talked about that kind of well, the shift in exactly the tournament structure a little bit earlier in the video. And just to finish up, I thought I would do this because well, this GIF plays over at the God League right now. And well, if we pause it in 3, 2, 1, who's going to win? Oh baby, there it is. Los Angeles Thieves, they're making the run. I said they weren't going to do it, but well, the gods have proved it. The COD gods have come to make their decision, and Los Angeles Thieves officially taking the CDL Major 2. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below on all this stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. Now you enjoyed this content, other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.
What's your Subway order? Dude. What's your Subway order? Yeah.
I don't know. My mom does it for me.
So what's your Subway order? Dude. What's your
Subway order?
Yeah.
I don't know. My mom does it for me.